Good morning. Happy Monday morning. Going into our 4th week of us not being together, which is just crazy. I miss you guys so much. Sorry, I had my camera propped up and it fell right as I pushed record. I miss you guys so much and wish I could see you, but since we can't, we're gonna go ahead and just keep going with our regular routine for this week. You actually have a short week this week. We have Good Friday, so you won't have any assignments on Friday. So we're gonna get a few things going today. I'm gonna go through vocabulary and I'm gonna read the story to you. And if you have any questions, you can always find me on Remind. Feel free to do that. So I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys and your families are healthy. I hope you're feeling safe, and I hope you're just giving mom and dad lots of hugs, because that's what's important at this time. So you will notice this week we're reading the Signmaker's Assistant, and yes, I skipped a story. I skipped over My Name is Gabriella for a couple reasons. I guess most importantly, I like this one better, so we won't say anything, but we're gonna go ahead and skip it. This is one of my favorite stories because it's funny, and you know I like funny, I like to laugh, and I think you'll enjoy it too. So very first thing I'm gonna do is go over vocabulary. I'm gonna go over quickly. I'm on page 122 in my reading book if you want to get there too and follow along. The first one is assistant. Assistant is someone who helps out. Sometimes in the classroom I have an assistant. I will ask you to run things to the office for me or pass out some materials. So that is somebody who helps. Agreed. Agreed means people feel the same way. In the book, number 2, it says the people agreed that the road needed a stop sign. It means they all felt the same way. Number 3 is polite, which you all are very polite. It just means to treat each other with respect and kindness. Number 4, I'm still looking in the book, is the word failed. The sign failed to keep the dog off the grass. Failed, it means it didn't work. Sometimes we talk about, kids will ask about failing in school. And remember what I always say, fail just means you have to practice a little bit harder. And a lot of times if you fail, that's how you learn more, remember? So just keep trying and keep trying. Number 5, tearing. The worker is tearing apart the old sign. Means when you take a piece of paper. Now, if I were in class with you, I probably would be doing this. I'd just rip it right in half. That's tearing. Wisdom. Number 6 says the words of wisdom on this billboard teach us to act the right way. It says be safe and drive slowly. Wisdom means to be wise, to be smart. That's what you need to do, which you all are very smart. Number 7 is cleared. The crossing guard cleared the way so the children could cross. It means it got everything out of the way, so there was nothing in the way, and they could cross without any trouble. I know this weekend I cleared the sticks out of my yard. It means I had to pick them all up and put them in a nice big pile so that we could mow. And the last one is trouble. It says without signs, drivers would have trouble knowing when to stop. Trouble is when you're not sure you're doing the right thing, okay? So that's the vocabulary for the week. Not too bad, I don't think. Your assignment today is just going to be choosing one of the vocabulary sheets. I don't care if you start with 1, 2, 3, and 4, or if you do 5, 6, 7, 8, but it's the one that looks like this. And on the back it has the sentences and the definitions. So your only assignment reading today is fold this in half and go ahead and look up those definitions and sentences and draw a nice picture to go with that. So that's what your assignment is today. I'm going to go ahead and read the story to you. I know your parents are so busy and they're probably still working, some of them. So I want you to get your book and you can follow along with me. If you don't have your book, it would be a good time to pause the video and you can go find it. That way you give your parents a little bit of time to do what they need to do, and we can just spend time together like we usually do on Mondays. So I'm on page 126. This is called the Signmaker's Assistant. Assistant, remember, means helper. And I'm looking at the genre, which is humorous fiction, which you know is my very favorite because I love to hear you all laugh. Remember, humorous fiction is a story that's written to make the reader laugh. So if we think about the author's purpose for this story, what do you think it would be? Persuade, to inform, or to entertain? I hope you said to entertain, because anytime we laugh, that's what the author's trying to make us do. He's trying to entertain us. The author and illustrator is Ted Arnold. So I'm going on to page 127. The essential question says, how are signs helpful? You're going to find out quickly how helpful they are. All right, I'm on page 128. We're going to go ahead and read. I'll read and you can follow. Everyone in town agreed. The old Signmaker did the finest work for miles around. Under his brush, ordinary letters became beautiful words. Words of wisdom, words of warning, or words that simply said which door to use. So when he painted stop, people stopped because the sign looked so important. When he painted please keep off the grass, they kept off because the sign was polite and sensible. When he painted good food, they just naturally became hungry. People thanked the sign maker and paid him well, but the kind old man never failed to say, I couldn't have done it without Norman's help. Okay, next page, we're on page 130. Norman was the sign maker's assistant. Each day after school, he cut wood, mixed colors, and painted simple signs. Soon I will have a shop of my own, said Norman. Perhaps, answered the sign maker, but not before you clean these brushes. One day after his work was done, Norman stood at a window over the sign shop and watched people. They stopped at the stop sign. They entered at the enter sign. They ate under the good food sign. They do whatever the sign says, said Norman to himself. I wonder... And he crept into the shop while the sign maker took a nap. With brush and board, he decided to paint a sign of his own. Page 132. Early the next morning, he put up the sign, then he ran back to his window to watch. No school? Muttered the principal. How could I forget such a thing? So if you look on the school doors, this is the sign that Norman decided to paint. It says no school today. The principal, the teachers, and the students are all ready to go in. Well, no one informed me, said the teacher. Hooray, cheered the children, and everyone went home. Oh, this is great, cried Norman. He looked around town for another idea. Oh, he said at last, there's something I've always wanted to do. If you look at page 134, this is his next sign. The following day, Norman jumped from the top of the fountain in the park. As he swam, he thought to himself, oh, I can do lots of things with signs. And ideas filled his head. That afternoon, when Norman went to work, the sign maker said, I must drive to the next town and paint a large sign on a storefront. I'll return tomorrow evening, so please lock up the shop tonight. As soon as the sign maker was gone, Norman started making signs. He painted for hours and hours and hours. So now Norman's on his own, and he is finding a way to make signs funny, he thinks. Like putting a no school today sign on the school when there really was school, and put an open for swimming sign at the fountain when everybody knows you're not allowed to swim in the fountain. However, when there's a sign there that says you can, people tend to listen to it. Okay, the next page. So there's an example of 3 of the signs he painted while the sign maker was out of town. In the morning, people discovered new signs all around town. So look, it says the bank is closed and you have to deposit your money here, which is a garbage can. I wonder how many people would really do that. The next sign says eat your hat, and if you look on the sidewalk, somebody actually took a bite out of the hat. And the next one says toy shop, and Norman's sign says buy Norman a present. And if you look outside his window, look at all the presents. I wonder if you would do that. Would I do that? Would your parents do that? I don't know. Page 138, your next page, said stop, ants crossing. So this big delivery truck is stopping while these little tiny ants that you probably would never even see in your car are crossing the road. And then where the grocery market or the grocery store was, he put up a big sign that says garbage dump. And now people are dumping their garbage in front of the grocery store. So do you think Norman's signs are funny? I think he does, or maybe he did. Let's find out. Norman watched it all and laughed until tears came to his eyes, but soon he saw people becoming angry. The sign maker is playing tricks, they shouted. He has made fools of us. The teacher tore down the no school today sign. Suddenly people were tearing down all the signs, not just the new ones, but every sign the sign maker had ever painted. Then the real trouble began. Without store signs, shoppers became confused. Without stop signs, drivers didn't know when to stop. And without street signs, firemen became lost. In the evening, when the sign maker returned from his work in the next town, he knew nothing of Norman's tricks. An angry crowd of people met him at the back door of his shop and chased him into the woods. Remember, the sign maker has no idea what happened when he was gone. As Norman watched, he suddenly realized that without signs and without the sign maker, the town was in danger. Oh, it's all my fault, cried Norman. But no one was listening. Okay, we're on page 144. You can follow along. Late that night, the sign maker returned and saw a light on in his shop. Norman was feverishly painting. While the town slept, the sign maker watched. Norman put up stop signs, shop signs, street signs, danger signs, and welcome signs. In and out signs, large and small signs, new and beautiful signs. He returned all his presents and cleared away the garbage at the grocery store. It was morning when he finished putting up his last sign for the entire town to see. Then Norman packed his things and locked up the shop. But as he turned to go, he discovered the sign maker and all the townspeople gathered at the door. If you look back at page 145, this is the sign or the banner that Norman put up. Don't blame the sign maker. I tricked you, and I'm sorry. Norman. I know you're angry with me for what I did, said Norman with downcast eyes. So I'm leaving. Oh, we were angry, all right, answered the school principal. But we were also fools for obeying such signs without thinking. You told us you're sorry, said the sign maker, and you fixed your mistakes. So stay and work hard. One day, this shop may be yours. Perhaps, answered Norman, hugging the old man, but not before I finish cleaning those brushes. So tomorrow we'll discuss it a little bit more, but I think Norman realized what he did was probably not a great idea. The only other reading assignment you have today is your new spelling words, and I know I'm sitting in the sun this morning, so it might be kind of hard to see. These are words with AR, and if you remember from the phonics dance, A-R-R-R-R, just like a pirate would say. It says sort the spelling words by the number of letters in each word. Well, that's nice. If you can count to 3, 4, and 5, you got this one. And you'll see the numbers 3, 4, and 5. So the first word is car. Does it have 3 letters, 4 letters, or 5? It ends in AR and says R. So I'm going to read through the list of words. If you want to get your list, pause the video and go get it. Car, dark, arm, star, park, yard, party, hard, farm, start, part, spark, art, and jar. So 3, 4, 5 letters in the word. And then at the bottom, 15 through 20 says now add to your list. You're going to add 2 AR words that you know that have 3 letters, 2 AR words that have 4 letters, and 2 AR words that have 5 letters. It might be kind of tricky, so think about it. And that's it for reading. So vocabulary and spelling. I did the vocabulary with you, went over those, and I read the story to you. So have a great day, work hard, play outside. It's beautiful. I miss you. Bye.